Hey guys, Brian here with Disc Golf Examiner. I'm here today with another Am vs. Pro review. For our amateur player, we have Mike Vasey, a local amateur player, as well as Cody Winget, a local professional player. And today we're going to review the Dynamic Discs Convict. Now you guys didn't get to throw the Convict before today. What did you think of it with your first throws?
I liked it a lot. It's pretty overstable. You throw it nice and flat. It goes nice and straight with a very hard hookup at the end. You can put it on an Anheuser and it's going to flex back, it seemed. So I'm interested to check it out more.
I liked it too. For my slower arm, it's a little bit more overstable than it was for Cody. I felt like a little bit more overstable culverin maybe without the glide. It doesn't have a ton of glide. It's a pretty flat profile disc. So.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's go to the profile.
Let's do it. The Dynamic Disc Lucid Convict in the Lucid plastic has a smooth feel with a sure grip. It's a semi-flat profile with a shallow rim and a slight lip. When I threw the Dynamic Disc Convict on a hyzer line in the headwind, it flipped up just a little bit, but stayed overstable and rode the hyzer line the rest of the flight.
When I threw the Convict on a hyzer line, I threw it a little too high, and as expected, it dumped out a little too early.
When I threw the Convict on a flat release into a stiff headwind, it stood up, turned over just a little bit, and then came back at the very end of its flight.
When I threw the Convict flat, it had a nice turn to the right, but still stable, and came back dependably to the left.
When I threw the Convict on an Anheuser release into a headwind, it rode the Anheuser line the entire length of the flight and didn't come back.
When I released the Convict on an Anheuser angle, it glided to the right and did not come back.
When I threw the Convict on a sidearm, it went straight and then flexed out in the middle of the flight, and then at the end of the flight, it hyzered out at the end.
When I threw the Convict forehand into about a 10-mile-an-hour wind, it flipped right over and did not come back.
Alright guys, and that's how we threw the Dynamic Disc Convict in Lucid plastic. Cody, what'd you think of it overall?
I thought it was a great, reliable disc in the wind. It's something that you can really power on, but it's not going to turn over on a flatter hyzer release. In a headwind, it holds up pretty well, and it's going to want to fight back in the wind. It's not something that I think might make my bag, because it's kind of an overlap with the Opto Spark from Latitude 60, but it's a great disc, so it could potentially make my bag at some point.
Awesome. And Mike, what did you think of it overall?
I thought it was a really nice disc too. It has a little bit less glide than what I'm used to. Having a slower arm speed, I like to have a little bit of glide to help me out. Like I said before, I think it flies like a little bit more overstable culverin, but feels more like a felon. In that case, it would probably overlap a little bit with my Biofusion felon, so it probably won't make my bag either, but it is an absolutely great disc.
Awesome. Well, hey, that's going to do it for our review of the Dynamic Disc Convict. Hey, if you want to check out more stuff from Mike, where can they find your videos?
I have a YouTube page called Rec Masters, where we're just covering kind of disc golf life from the amateur perspective.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us for Disc Golf Examiner disc review for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember to go out there and bang some chains. Have a good one.